And we are live. Okay. This is where I realised that I've forgotten something vitally important, isn't it? Okie dokie. How do I share this? Let's do that quickly. Copy. Let's go into this. To anyone watching, if anyone is in the stream yet, do excuse me while I very quickly share the fact that I'm live. Join me live. And it's doing that annoying thing where it doesn't share the thumbnail on Facebook, which is so annoying when it does that. So it just gets lifted. What the hell is that? Delete that. I don't even know what that's done. Never mind. I won't bother sharing it because it's doing weird things. Let's come back in here. We've got, oh no, 7 people. Blimey. Hello. Who have we got in here? Draka, Colin Mack, Horace Lupercal, De Gitman, Angus Goodleaf, and Brooke Potts. Some veterans amongst you there. Brooks, Gitman, Horace, and Angus. How are we all doing? And well, I think you're all veterans, actually, aren't you? Mostly Zens here as well. Good stuff. Sorry, guys, for the bumbling start. I was attempting to share the link to this stream in the 40k Orc community Facebook group, but it does that annoying thing. Every now and again, it decides not to share the thumbnail. And when I did share it, then it was all in foreign. It was all written out in like Dutch or German or something. I don't even know what was going on there. Very weird. So I decided to give up and delete it and not bother sharing it. And it looks like a few of you are finding it anyway. And there's not. I'll let you into the secret right now. I was going to record tonight. I've got some videos that will be coming. I've got a Q&A coming that I'm sure some of you in here have already posed questions for, which I'm going to be doing. But I didn't want to do it as a live one because then it would double up because people will be asking me questions live as well. I want to do that as a pre-recorded one and do that. But I wasn't really in the mood to do that tonight. And then I've got another video, which is sort of a talking head video, quite an ambitious one, or quite an important, deep topic I want to talk about. And that one I really need to be in the right headspace for because I want to word everything right in that one. I think, is that what I'm trying to say? I want to make sure I get all my points across in that one because I think it's quite a important video to cover, and I think it'll be an interesting talking point. But I don't know when that one is going to come out. But it's going to be one that I want to sort of do justice to, and so I need to be bang on in the right headspace and energy levels and everything to be able to do that one. For this one, you've seen by the thumbnail that I literally just took. I'm going to be throwing a bit of paint on this guy during the stream. That's the plan anyway. You can see he's the Death Dread that I recently showed off on the channel. As you can see, he has been dry brushed metallics all over, and I have just started to apply some black and yellow to the various armor panels and stuff. Still got more black and yellow to go on him. Not a huge amount though. I'm probably going to keep him mostly metallics, but I'm just sort of ooming and ahhing over what to do on certain bits. And I've just realized as well that I forgot to do something. I was supposed to go and get either Snap, Crackle or Pop and bring them upstairs to put him next to me, because I always, when I'm doing something like this, which is another unit well, anything really. I like to have one that I've fully finished to have as a reference point to sort of look back and go, right, what did I do with this guy? Okay, that looked, just to sort of either to copy something or to deliberately go the other way. For example, if the main body of my Death Dread was yellow on the last one, I might want to make it black on this one. So I always choose like, what's this bit going to be black or yellow, and chop and change them and try and make them a bit random and stuff as well. But yeah, he's coming along nicely. He has got my painting mojo back, at least as much as it's been back for the last couple of months, because I've done very little painting. Because I'm very pleased with this guy. I'm very happy with him, and I really want to get him on the table because I really want to see what he's capable of on the table as well. And I think he's just going to be great fun, and he fits the theme of my army really well. And I've really sort of fallen in love with this guy. So yeah, he's got me spurred on to do a bit of painting just so I can show him off properly. How many? There's 17 of you in here already, and 6 likes. Blimey, you guys are good to me, aren't you? You're good to me. So what's going on? Angus Goodleaf says howdy from Quebekistan. Howdy. Brooke Potts says, "Hey boss, mostly Zen, gives us a wah. To Gitman, painting up the Gorkanaut I got for Christmas. Nice one. Gorkanaut, eh? Lucky boy. Draka, no worries, painting anyway. Good stuff, Draka. We can paint along together. Horace Lipical, it's a random evening with Stevo, so all is cool." Colin Mack, 3.0, Dead Zone is life. Dead Zone is life, 3.0, Dead Zone is life. Sorry, buddy, I don't get the reference there. I'm sorry if it's blatantly obvious. I'm sorry. Dissan's in here. Wow. Adam Hooper, evening. Brooke Potts, love the treads on it. Very unique. Thanks, Brooks. These came from the... Megatrack Scrapjet. That's where they came from. Make a great stunt bot, says Colin Mack. Dissan, good looking Death Dread, Stevo. Brooke Potts, you have a knack for dread building. I love dread building. I love dreads. They're so cool. My good buddy, Mr. Dreadwar Gaming is here. Oh, I see how it is. Bail on the boys to go record. Well, technically, I'm not recording. I'm going live. And anyway, I bailed on you guys ages ago. That was hours ago, man. Are you still in that chat? Have you given the new guy a name yet, Stevo, says Horace. I haven't yet. I'm thinking on that. Got a few ideas. Tommy Grimbooter, I'm getting real Robot Wars vibes from that. Looks great, bud. Yeah, someone did say it gave off Sir Killalot vibes. I think if he'd had the claw, the pincer one, if you're giving him like melee weapons on a track like that, then you're full on Killalot then, aren't you? It would be quite easy to do actually a Killalot. You just have to have sort of a knight style face over there. Change the guns for like the pincer and like the lance as the melee weapons, and then you would have a full-on Sir Killalot Death Dread. Anyone outside the UK would probably not know who Sir Killalot was. He was one of the house robots on Robot Wars. What do they call it in America? BattleBots. Yeah, really cool robot. Dread says he's busy painting his gits so he can smash the bald gits moonies ASAP. Yes, please bring it on. Come on. Yes, guys. So Dread is currently painting his gits, and I'm just gonna open my drink. Actually, I've got a fascination with various sodas. Most of the generic ones they sell in the UK, I don't like virtually any of them. When I go into most shops to buy like a cold drink, I don't like virtually everything on the shelves. I'm just bored of them all. And we've got this sugar tax and stuff here, and just everything that used to taste good, they've just ruined because they just take all the sugar and the good stuff out of it. Well, it's the bad stuff, but it's the stuff that tastes good. So I get lots of drinks imported and stuff, or I buy from shops that import them and that. But my mate, knowing this, got me a really cool Christmas present. He went out and just basically got this whole crate of different sodas, fizzy drinks. And just every single one's different. There's some of my favorites in there. There's some that I've never tried before. There's just loads, ones I've never even heard of before, which is really cool. But this one today, I'm going to be having Fanta Exotic. And it's the good Fanta as well, not the crappy UK Fanta, because our Fanta tastes like piss. This one is from, I feel like it's from Mexico, but I'm not sure. I don't know what the language is. But it tastes like the American one anyway. It's a good shit. I had the grape one the other day, which is my all-time favorite, but this one sounds nice, exotic. So we're going to give this one a whirl. That's nice. That tastes a bit like, oh, that is really nice. I'm getting like watermelon from that. Watermelon and like peach or something. I don't know. Whatever it is, it's bloody nice. Oh, that's good. I remember when drinks used to taste like that over here. So what have we got? Horace says, Sir Killalot Death Dread. Merge a Death Dread with bits from an Imperial Knight, maybe. Yeah. I think you'd have a full-on Killalot vibe going on there, and that would look pretty cool. And that would go really well in like a Speed Freaks army to look like and give him the Stomp-O-Matic pistons, so he's like a real speedy dread. That'd be pretty cool. Adam Hooper, next 3 dreads should be called Smack, Bang, and Wallop. Well, I was tempted to go with the because I called them Snap, Crackle, and Pop, the original 3, the characters from the Rice Krispies. If anyone didn't know, I was wondering whether to stick with the sort of cereal theme. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm going to call him Tony the Tiger or Count Chocula or something. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure at the moment. I'm going to give it some time though. The name will come up, I'm sure. Colin Mack says Iron Brew. I'm not a big lover of Iron Brew. It's all right. I don't hate it, but it's. He said the blue Fanta was like drinking almonds. It sucked. I found the UK grape really bland. Yeah, it's because they've destroyed our stuff, man. They've destroyed it. Everything now. I had like even like the stuff we get for the kids. Like we get them like the little cartons. There's these drinks called Capri Suns. I used to love them when I was a kid. Have them. And I was really thirsty the other day, and we didn't have much else in the house. So I was like, oh, I'll grab one of the kids' Capri Suns and have that. Oh, man, it was fucking horrible. It tastes like just really watered down, weak, wishy-washy, nasty stuff. They've just ruined the taste of so much stuff. And diet drinks are just like all the fucking rage now. It's all about take out the sugar and replace it with all these chemicals and weird shit that leaves the most vile aftertaste. But some of you out there seem to love that shit. And you love having a hideous, nasty, bitter, sour aftertaste after drinking what's supposed to be a sweet drink. And don't try and make them healthy because they're not healthy. If you want to be healthy, drink some juice or drink some water. Don't drink a fucking fizzy fucking soda and want it to be healthy. I don't know. Anyway, I'm getting slightly off topic here, aren't I? What have we got going on here? I gave up soda drinks unless I need a Jack and Coke. The Gitman says you could call this Dread Sir Shoots a Lot. Yeah, it could. Colin Mack says diet Iron Brew as I'm a diabetic. Well, then fair enough. You know, you've got to go for that. But then again, though, man, I don't know. If you take the sugar out of it, have you really got the drink there anymore? It just, nah, I don't know. Hold on. I don't have an ashtray here. Now we're all good to go. This on. Stay on target. Yeah, where's Nick when you need him? Brooke Potts said, had to kick fizzy drinks, was causing me headaches. Yeah, to be fair, mate, I don't actually have them very much at all. They, with my condition as well, they don't do wonders for my guts either. My stomach doesn't like them. But if in moderation, as a rare treat, I allow myself to have just like one here and there. I don't drink them often. So yeah, I'm gonna get a little bit of paint on this guy. What is everyone else working on tonight? That is really nice, though, that one. That is really good. Digit Man says, seeing that trying to quit smoking hasn't worked out. No, it hasn't, mate. Unfortunately, I'm very sorry to say. But I am planning to give up again very soon. Last year was, let's not sugarcoat it, it was a crap year for me. Really crap. Certainly the second half of last year was awful. I was doing really well with the giving up smoking. I'd switched to the vapes. And I'd done it for a good few months and I wasn't missing cigarettes at all. But then some things happened in my life that caused me huge distress. And depression and anxiety was going off a scale. And yeah, I reached where I was like, when you're in those dark places, you reach a point where you're like, well, why am I bothering taking care of myself? Because you think like that, you think negative thoughts and stuff, and you think, well, what? And yeah, I was just like, I don't know what it was really. I was like, you know what, bollocks to this. I'm having a cigarette. And then I had another one, and then I had another one, and I was like, bollocks to this. I'm going out and buying some. And I'll just switch back to cigarettes. So yeah, wasn't great, wasn't good, but it's a new year. I haven't done it for a New Year's resolution because I'm not really up for the old New Year's resolution things, but I am planning to give up again very soon. Basically, I'm waiting for payday to come around next week so that I can order myself some more vapes. And basically, I'm hoping in the next week or so to pick a day and go, right, from that day, not smoking anymore. I did that last time. It worked really well. And yeah, so yeah, we'll see how we go. You know what? It was annoying as well because a lot of like stressful things happened one after the other. And throughout all that, I carried on not smoking. And I was like, kept saying to myself, all this shit's happened, but I still haven't caved, I haven't. And I did really well with it. But then after a while, it was repeated things one after the other. And anyone can only take so much. And basically, I just reached a point where I was just like, I need a cigarette. But yeah, I would like to knock it on the head again because I'm not getting any younger and it ain't no good for me. And I got to take care of myself. But Brooke Potts says he's working on his Gargant for the Gargsinski challenge. Nice. Yeah, that's so cool that that's happening. I love that is happening, especially that it's in memory of our good friend Gar, because what a legend of the community. And I think what a community showcase that's going to be. Can you imagine next year when we see all this stuff? Is it next year? I know it's a year long, but it's going to be epic when we see all these bloody Gargants and fucking stompers and shit. It's going to be so cool. Dave Dog says he's drilling holes into the feet of killer cads and death dreads to pin them sadly. To pin them sadly? Why are they sad? I'm sure that's a typo. Liam says, I'm building the Orc Commandos from the Kill Team box. Cool. I still haven't got those yet. But they are stunning. Essex showed them off to me when he came round for the battle report before, and they are beautiful miniatures. Grot Euler finishing touches, one from Dread Smasher's Retinue, Cromlech 2021. Nice. The misadventures of Mr. Gotti is headed to the local hobby shop for some hobby time and hopefully a game or two. Good stuff, mate. Have fun. Hopefully you roll well. Tour Monkey. I'm working on the Dominion box set. My local had a deal at 50% off, so I bought it. Wow, that's good. This son took my grot up to the trampoline park to let her burn off some energy. Oh, I see. Your child, you mean? Colin Max painting trolls for his Kings of War goblins. They got a rules update, and the goblin ones come with jetpacks. You kill them, and they explode. Nice. Kings of War is It's getting more and more popular all the time, and Kings of War is yeah, it's a cool looking game. I think it's the game that sort of replaced fantasy, isn't it? A lot of people that wanted Miss Fantasy, I think, have moved on to Kings of War. The Gitman last year had a similar effect to me, but I didn't do anything about it. My depression, because I didn't know what was wrong, and it hurt. Yes, it's a common story, I'm afraid, among a lot of people. Most of us, in fact, I think. Yeah, mine was. I don't think my stuff wasn't really to do with the thing, although I'm sure that definitely had an impact and may have been catalyst for various things that happened in my life. Brooke Pot says it is something special for the community, referring to the Gargant build off. Yes, it is. It definitely is. Disson says I just got black dragon and a white dragon for my D&D mini collection that will need assembly and painting. All that'll be fun. I've never built and painted a dragon. I bet they're really fun projects to do though. Dave Dog says, who set up the Garganzinski challenge? I believe it was Tom. I believe it was. But they're generally a sort of a group thing, mostly Zen. I believe he's generally the guy that organizes the challenges, and although he doesn't necessarily choose the thing, he sort of puts it out to a vote and gets sort of feedback and stuff and sort of gets an idea. But yeah, he's generally the guy that runs the competitions and does a bang tidy job with them as well. They're great fun to be watching that. I've only entered one, I'm ashamed to say. Of all the competitions that have been run in the community, I've only actually entered one myself and judged one as well. But they're cool to keep an eye on. They're always interesting. Always like look at what's going on in there because it's cool to see what you guys come up with. Trey says, took me 14 years to finally stop. I stopped over and over again, but eventually I did. So you got this. Take it in your own stride. Yes, thank you, Trey. Yeah, I will. I will get there. I'm confident I will. Modeling for Advantage is here. He says, hey, still in my line. That'll be the restless Kaiser, no doubt. Tommy Grimbooter working on my Death Dread. Great kit, isn't it? I'm going for a Scorcher Dread. Nice. What, with 4 Scorchers? You're going to full-on Bernie? Navani, what is this handsome fella doing on my screen? Thank you, mate. The Gitman, my dad said that my phone was probably the cause of my depression, but when I stopped using my phone at night, it didn't help. If anything, it got worse. He was probably referring to things like social media and stuff and things. I think he may have had a point, mate, because we're so stimulated all the time with stuff, entertainment, and we want to be entertained 24/7. It never used to be like that. We used to just sort of accept being bored sometimes and, doing other things and letting your mind shut down. Where now our minds are so wired and so active all the time with stuff. And it sort of takes you out of reality. It takes you into this weird non-reality place of social media. And he probably did have a point, mate. You got to try and unwind before bedtime sometimes and give your brain a chance to sort of shut down and close off. I'm saying all this, I'm just like giving out advice that I don't even follow myself. Jim Cook says, currently working on some 6mm killer cads from Vanguard Miniatures. Amazing little minis. If you haven't seen them, you should definitely have a look. I will, mate. That sounds really cool. Cute little killer cads, like epic scale. That's awesome. Colin Mack says, got the new boys too, working on making them into my rebuild Space Crusade set. Got to chaos up some Necron warriors to do chaos androids. Sweet. That is cool. Colin Mack's telling the Gitman to go and speak to the doctor. That is good advice, actually. If it is getting really bad, if you recognise it within yourself. Howdly doodly. Says, greetings from Cleveland, Ohio. Your battle reports are some of the best on YouTube. Wow. I'm not sure about that, but we have fun making them. I have fun games and we have fun making them. And I certainly think I would never presume to say that my battle reports are the best on YouTube. The numbers certainly don't reflect that. But I think I'm appealing to a different crowd, let's say. I think the competitive meta market is very well catered for. And I think there is room for more casual battle reports with a bit more freeform rules and a bit more, just having fun and concentrating on the fun of the game rather than the sort of ultra competitive nature. Do excuse me for a moment. Oh, trouble with live videos. What we got? I'm conflicted on how to feel about the new Orc Boys. They're really nice models, but them being Monopose sort of ruins it, says Warboss. Yeah, the new Boys kit is... I've got them because I got them in the Combat Patrol set. Discourse, if you look at my community tab, I shared a link to Discourse Miniatures video on this very issue, and she's made a really, really good video about it and basically hits the nail on the head about everything that's wrong with that kit. And there is a lot wrong with that kit. It's modeling for advantage says casual is the way to go. Screw the tournament bean counters. I am in full agreement with you, Kaiser. Full agreement. Full agreement. We had a good old chat about this on the recent New Year's episode of the War Bosses. I got a little bit drunk while I was trying to present that, but a lot of fun was had and some great discussions were had. Ivan Landry says, hey, Stevo, do you lost your love for your bad moon? No, definitely not. I love my bad moons. What are you talking about? I never lose my love for the bad moons. You have the most fun casual folks. Casual folks like me dig it. Good stuff. That's what I've aimed to do. I did, up until very recently, kind of worry a bit about getting rules wrong, not playing the most up-to-date stuff, trying to make sure that I was all up-to-date on all the rules and everything. And you know what? Who cares? Seriously. It's to the point where I kept apologizing on camera. Like, oh, sorry, I got this wrong. Sorry, I got this wrong. And there's people always quick to point out, I think you'll find you got this rule a little bit wrong. And sometimes it's very helpful. Sometimes it is, because actually I've been learning quite a lot of the game from playing the battle reports and then getting the comments afterwards going, oh, right, I see. That's right. It is useful sometimes. Other times it does come across as a little bit nitpicky and you're like, oh, all right, mate. But yeah, it's... it just doesn't matter, does it? If you want to go and watch people get everything exactly right, which I don't think anyone does, but there's plenty of channels that will cater to that. Plenty of channels that have probably got much higher production values and everything than I have, because I'm filming these battle reports on me, albeit a good one, but a phone nonetheless. I'm just filming it on me S21. I film it, edit it, and everything, upload it all through the phone. Yeah. The battles themselves are lit with the lighting, courtesy of my missus, who does a lashing business, and she's got some these really cool lights actually, which would be great. As soon as I saw them, I've got to use them for my battle reports. She's got these lights that come out in there for when you do the false lashes on her clients. I use them every time now for my battle reports, and they're just incredible lights. They're really, really good. They'd be really good for doing all kinds of videos and things with, actually. So yeah, that was cool. What's going on here? Brooke Pot says his Bad Moon Warband is pretty incredible. Tommy Group pyromatic themed dreads. I think that's in reference to my bad moons. If it is, thank you very much, Brooks. Tommy Grimbooter says his dread is going to be a pyromaniac themed dread, so maybe 4 Scorchers. Yeah, that'll be good fun, mate. And Dishon says, I quit smoking 20 plus years ago. They were too expensive back then. I'd hate to pay the price they cost now. Yeah, it ain't cheap, mate. It ain't cheap. But I smoke roll-ups usually, so that is quite a bit cheaper, but still expensive. But it's more for my health really than the money, actually. Colin Mack says, "Do you watch Discourse? She makes me laugh." Yes, I was just talking earlier, actually, mate. Saying we were going to check the link in my community tab. I just shared a video of hers talking about the new boys kit, and she made a really good video on it. I think you'll like it. The Pale Orc is here. What's going on here? Not a lot, man. We're just chin wagging, shooting the breeze. I'm hoping to, when I finish this cigarette, I'm going to get a little bit of paint on old Dakar Dread here. David Williamson says, "Happiness is a big mech into crushing armor, hard as nails with KFF and extra custom weapon." Yeah, it sounds like a pretty happy mech. It does sound like a pretty happy mech. No arguments there, mate. Speaking of the crushing armor, I've got me Mega Boss who's on the go at the moment. His arm's not attached right, but you can see how he's coming along. Well, that focused in quite well there. As you can see, he's got a different head, which I absolutely love. So yeah, he's got in most of his base colors down, coming along nicely. I'm looking forward to adding him to the tribe, and I've also got the Pain Boss as well there, who is also on his way to getting painted to join the crew. So yeah, got a few projects on the go. I was painting them two quite a while ago though, and they've just kind of sat there ever since. And I just couldn't. I don't know what it was. I was like, oh, I just lost me painting mojo. But yeah, converting this guy and getting him built really sort of like, oh, I'm really pleased with him. Like, I want to get him painted now because I really want to show him off properly. I know I've showed him off on the channel in terms of showing off the conversion, but it'd be good fun to show off the actual paint job and get him on the table for some of the battle reports and see how much he can kill with all that Dakar. To get mad. Hello, I'm back from FaceTime call from my dad. Perfect timing since we were talking about him several minutes ago. Carl Finch, I've been enjoying playing a Mega Armor Big Mech with custom Mega Blaster and the extra shot with a teleport blaster on top. He rocks around in an open top wagon, blowing shit up and sorting through the bits after. Yes, I like a good shooty Big Mech in Mega Armor as well, and the teleport blaster is good fun to play around with. Yeah, that weapon's seen quite a bit of an improvement this edition. Actually, it used to be quite naff, but I always used it anyway because I just thought it looked cool. It's just a way to give the maximum amount of Dakar possible on your Big Mech. Francisco's in here. Love what you did with the Death Dread. I also put tank tracks on mine as well, but I made mine Evil Sun's version. Yes, I think a lot of people mentioned that to me, saying that he'd make a really good Evil Sun's one. I definitely would. You could go one or two ways with it, giving it that feel of extra speed and stuff. I see this guy as being quite slow, just trundling along, just dackering away, bullets flying everywhere, most of them missing, but having a hell of a time doing it. Francisco says, check out my Facebook page or the Orc community. You'll see it. I will, mate. I will have a look at that after this. And Gobble One. What? That War Boss in Mega Arm is a super awesome model. I'm looking forward to see you finish paint job on that one. Yes, he'll be nice because he is. This is Gashnak Goldtooth. This is the boss of my tribe. I have lots of war bosses, but none of them are the actual boss. This is the actual boss of my army. He had to be in Mega Armor. Yeah, I was going to convert one. Well, I have. I've kit bashed. I've done a head swap. That's all I've done with him. But he fits the theme really well. He's going to be my boss. He's my big boss man. So yeah, that'll be very cool. To Pale Orcs, so when Are you getting 3 of each buggy? I've got 3 of the scrapjet, shock jump, and squig buggies. I still need to collect more. Speed #speed mob payload. 3 of each buggy? No. Why would I do that? To go in the bits box, you mean? Yes, but no, I'm not getting 3. I would only ever have 1 of each buggy. If I wanted 3 of each, I would have to build my own or kit bash my own, or I can't just buy 3 Megatrap scrapjets. That's not Orky. No. We don't do things like that here. No 2 Orc vehicles should look the same, Pale. Come on, you know better than that. To get man, I see you took up my suggestion of making Goldtooth the war boss in Mega Armor. Yes, it was all your idea, Gitman. Dreadwild Gaming might as well be that guy. Fill the void. Call that a big boss. Who are you talking about there, Dread? Are you talking to me? I don't even know the point you're making. Gobble 1 of each is the way to go. 3 identical buggies are just not orcish enough. I fully agree. Yes. No, that you can't do that. No. You could at least you could buy 3, but you'd have to add to them or do something to them to make each at least somewhat unique. If you are interested in buggies, keep an eye on the War Boss channel, because we will be doing something interesting with one of the buggies soon. I'll say no more on it than that, but keep an eye. The Pale Orc, none of mine look the same. Good. That is a relief. Good to hear. And I with your modelling skills, Pale, as well, I would have been very surprised actually if they did all look the same. Plastic Crack Gaming, Stevo, who knows anymore? Now that's in reference to Dread. Who knows what he's on about? Who knows? Right, I better do some painting, don't I? Let's do some painting. So I'm going to move the light a little bit. It might play around with the zoom and stuff, and I may miss some of what you're saying, but I will try and not just go all quiet and zone into my painting. I've seen a lot of YouTubers do that live. Fucking hell, it's boring. I'm sorry. Some good YouTubers, some channels that I've used to watch a lot, and they did listen to a lot of live stuff where they'd be painting and stuff. And while they're chatting and stuff, it's all fine. But then I would see it and it'd be like 10 minutes would go by and they just hadn't spoken. It was just, you were watching them paint and it just wasn't very interesting to watch. It was just boring. I need to sort of, so if there's something I'm not going to do much of in this, it'll be painting, not the talking. I'll do lots of talking. Anyone who knows me knows I've got no trouble doing that. Now, I've got to try and remember what I was going to paint. I had a plan in mind what I was going to do. The trouble is, I still haven't fully decided what I'm going to do, whether I'm going to paint that bit yellow or not. I don't know. What am I going to do? Tell you what I'll do. I will paint some of the... I'll paint some of the bronze bits, bronze/gold. Where's that gone? It's around this somewhere. No. Typical. It's the one color that is not to hand. Maybe I won't do that then. I'll paint something else. I shall. Do you know what? I'm going to do some bony colours. Let's do some bony colours. To get man, I feel very bad Mooney painting this Gorkanaut Deathstorm Mega Shooter. The gun looks so fucking cool. It does. I love. And you know what? Gorkanaut divides opinion, but fuck the haters, man. I love that miniature. I love the Gorkanaut. He's awesome. I love him. And yeah, that Deathstorm Mega Shooter is a fucking badass gun, especially with the gunner sitting on the back of the thing. It's so cool. So cool. Francisco, what do you think for a Gretchen army to make a boss like Master Blaster from Thunderdome? Yes, do it now. Modeling for advantage. I think all Orc players are secretly modeling for advantage. Francisco, I think each buggy should be different. If you have to do the same one, that just looks weird. That also applies to trucks as well. DePaylor, many of you lads tried out the new Speed Bob army rules. Been running 3 squig buggies, 3 scrap jets, 10 death copters with rockets and a shitload of bikes. Punches hard. No, I haven't, Pale. I barely even know what's in that thing. I know that there's speed mob rules, and I know there's some blood axe rules in that campaign book. But I'm just sort of burnt out on. I'm burnt out on updates and expansions and things. It's just too much. I can't keep up with it, so I've basically decided not to. Don't get me wrong, if it had come out and maybe there'd been some specific Bad Moon stuff in there, they probably would have hooked me in and made me waste more of my money. But no, it looks interesting. Some of the rules look quite good. I don't really have the issue with the rules that are in there as such or anything like that. It's just the fact that it exists and so much of it is too much. And I think I for a while fell into the trap that a lot of us do, is that we think just because GW releases stuff, we have to follow it and keep up with it. And it's just not true. Obviously, if you go into tournaments and stuff and that's your bag, then I suppose you kind of have to. But I'm just not, I can't. It's too much. Right, going bright lights now. Sorry. Let's move that down just so I can see what I'm doing. Oh, that is lovely and bright. Right then. We're painting on some bony colours because we've got a little skull on his rack there to paint. We've got some tusks to paint. And then I'm thinking this jaw plate here, I might paint that white actually. So I'm going to go over it in a bone colour first and then go over in the white and do that. All right, where's my brush? Water. And I'm not even using a wet palette. Oh, sacrilege. Can't paint without a wet palette. Watch me. Do an old school bit of paint on a saucer. Because I just can't be asked to get the wet palette out or find where it is, clean it out and do it. I can't be bothered. You know, I've come to the realization this year. I thought I had already, but I think I've really just do what you want, chill out and do what you want. And it's like, as a YouTuber, certainly it's sort of twofold. It's one in the hobby and one on YouTube. As a YouTuber, you see, if you're making YouTube and you're doing it, you tend to, most of us do anyway, tend to watch a lot of YouTube as well. I watch loads of YouTube, not just hobby stuff, all kinds of stuff. But in terms of the hobby stuff, you see what other people are doing, especially some of the big channels and things, and you see how they do stuff, and you take tips from it, and you copy ideas, and you do things like that, and then you go off and do your own thing. And you see these channels and things doing this stuff and putting these slick together things, so you feel this certain amount of pressure, and especially when your viewers and subscribers are commenting, going, "Oh, you got this rule wrong and stuff," and you did it, and you feel a certain sense of pressure to get things right and do things right. And I was for a while. I was thinking, oh, no, I'd really frustrate myself. I was like, oh, Bowles got that wrong. That's not going to look good, is it? What what people are going to think? And actually, it's like, well, I think the more you chat to people, the more you see that people are kind of sick of this. But as content creators doing this stuff, especially if we're covering GW stuff, we're kind of partly guilty of making everyone feel like that. If we all do that and we set that as the standard, and if you're not doing it, if you're not playing by the most up-to-date rules, then you're doing it wrong. And if you're not playing the meta, then you're doing it wrong. And if you haven't got the latest version of chapter approved, you're doing it wrong. And it says who? Says who? I don't think we need to. And I think as content creators, we have a certain responsibility actually to show the people at home who may be getting a little bit disenfranchised with the way GW conducts themselves and the way the game's going, the direction it's going, and stuff. That these people are not being catered for. And actually, the more we just decide to go, do you know what? As long as we're having fun and then we film it and show it and we show what we're doing with it, more and more people are going to see that and go, yeah, well, we can do that. Maybe there's a rule you don't like in ninth. Maybe you don't like the secondaries, or maybe you don't like the way things done. Agree with your mate. Come to an agreement. Say, look, the mission says this, but shall we just say this, or shall we just do our own mission? Shall we? You can tweak things. I saw Winter's SEO the other day had a battle report up that I was watching. I think it was against Kirioth actually, and they said on it they were doing a matched play narrative game. So it was match play, but they were doing like a narrative battle to have fun with it. And they just decided rather than like however many CP the list dictates that you have, and what formation detachments you've chosen, etc., will then dictate how many CP you have. They just said, look, he's using knights. To use knights, it costs loads of CP. We're not doing that. We've just decided we both start the game with 12 CP each. And I was like, that's cool. That's brilliant. Just, yeah, there's shit like that. Just, I think as long as you announce it to the viewers at home to let them know that just before anyone decides to comment and say, this or whatever, this is because we've decided to do this. And I think little light tweaks like that, you can just exclude a rule or add a rule or whatever to make the game more fun, to fit your purpose is the way to go. And I'm going to be leaning into that a lot more going forward. I'm really going to worry a lot less about getting everything exactly right and that, because that's not my idea of real fun. And we're losing a lot of that in this hobby at the moment. Fun. We're losing that. The video I was watching of Discourse earlier, she was talking about the new Orc Boys kit and how unfun it is to put together. And I agree with her. To a lesser extent, the Beast Snagger Boys kit is similar. Not quite as bad, because you can still play around with that kit a bit, and it's still got quite a bit of freedom and things you can do with it. But you are literally just following instructions, because everything goes together in a very set, specific way. And that's just not very fun for me. I used to love it when you opened up a kit and you had a load of torsos, a load of heads, a load of arms, a load of legs, weapons, and that. And you go, oh, I really like that head. And I'll put that head with that body, and I'll turn the head slightly so it looks like he's looking down the barrel of his gun. And I'll have this one looking like he's reloading his gun, or I'll have this one looking like he's drawing his knife ready to stab someone, or this one's just overlooking the battlefield, And being able to do shit like that is just, while you're building, you don't have to look at the instructions. You just got little toy box of things, and it's like sitting there building Lego, just having fun with it. I mean, who bought Lego sets? And maybe at first you build the set, but once you break it apart, you're like, the real fun from Lego comes from having a big box of Lego and going, what shall I build? And just having fun. And I think we certainly with this new boys kit, we've lost that, and a lot of these modern kits, and there'll be certain members of the community that will tell you if you think like that, or if you say that, you're being negative, and you're just boohooing the stuff, and it's so much better. And if you're a true Orc player, you can convert it and change it anyway. Yeah, you can, but it'll be much more of a ball ache. And you still need the instructions, because the certain bits you're still going to need to build certain bits together, even if you are converting it. And you cannot mix them up. You can't cut them off the sprue and dump them in a box, because you won't know where the fuck they go afterwards. You won't even recognize what the hell it is if you cut it off the sprue and throw it in a bits box. So I think those people kind of underplay the sort of the seriousness of the way these kits have affected our hobby and our enjoyment of the hobby. And so, yeah, I'm really kind of, I don't know, I've had a bit of an epiphany, might be a strong word, but just a change of, or a clarity of vision within myself and the channel itself. You know, don't get me wrong, out of the 4 war bosses, I probably am still going to be Mr. Positivity, because I think there is a lot to be still positive about. Yes, even today. But there is certainly a lot to criticize and a lot to rebel against or ignore at the very least. And I plan to ignore quite a lot of certainly the new rules, expansions, updates, FAQs, etc. Points and things I will still, you know, probably go along with, and well, I will, because I just basically build my lists on Battlescribe anyway, and as they get updated on there, I'll stick with that, and it doesn't bother me too much. I don't mind points changing too much for balance and things, but I'm not going to try and keep up with every little fucking rule change and the way things work, and you know, because it's soulless and no fun. And I've got a job and other responsibilities and a life outside of this hobby, and I'm not prepared to put that kind of commitment into what should be a light hobby for escapism from the pressures of real life. I don't want this hobby to be full of pressure and a need to keep up with the latest thing, and it's just, that's not really fun, is it? Don't get me wrong, it's fun when some new exciting things coming out, a new unit, a new miniature, that is exciting, that's fun. A new codex when it comes out is fun, as long as it's not too soon since the last one. This current codex we've got, I really like this codex. It's got some really cool stuff in it. We've got a lot of stuff back. We've got loads of new stuff. Death Dreads are in the best position they've probably ever been. Hence why I'm having so much fun building them and converting them and talking about them and painting them, because Death Dreads rock. Once I've finished painting this jaw plate, I will stop waffling on and read the comments, because I'm sure some of you are chatting amongst yourselves or responding to any of the various things I've said. This is the trouble with painting live on stream. For me, anyway. And he's coming along at it. And you see, he's getting white. So he's getting there. He's getting there. Yeah, I thought I'm going to paint that jaw plate. Like I say, I'm going over it with bone. This skeleton bone's a really good base color. It's really good for like doing reds and yellows over the top of, actually, because it covers really nicely in like one coat, even over black. And then the white, when I paint the white over the top of it, it just goes on so smooth and easy. And this army painter white is a really good white, actually. I'm not like a lot of the other guys out there who've tried loads of different ranges of paints. I haven't. I've pretty much used GW and then switched army painter, and that's all I've ever really used, other than some like Humbrol things and that back in the day. But what I can say, this army painter white compared to GW white, there's no comparison. It's so much better. It goes on really smooth. It gives good coverage. It doesn't have that chalky consistency to it. It's just a really smooth, nice white to use. And I really I like whites when they're all dirtied down and like all grubby and that. So that's what I'll be doing with this guy, like I do with all mine. It'll be getting some weather in and battle damage and stuff, and chipped paintwork and stuff. So I think it will look quite cool on there. Give a nice sort of little focus point to this miniature, I think. I'm still deciding how much black and yellow to add to him and how much to keep him metallic. The more metallic he stays, the easier it's going to make my life, which is one of the reasons why I'm quite keen to not do too much yellow and black on him. Because if I do decide one bit's going to stay metallic, then good news, it's basically already done. And that means he gets done quicker and he gets on the table quicker. But also, if I have I was looking the other day and I was like, oh, so what color shall I paint that top bit? I was like, I'll paint it black. No, I'll paint it yellow. No, I'll paint it black. And then the idea popped in my head, well, I could do hazard stripes. And I was really close to doing it. I was like, no fucking way. It's on like it's not like a flat surface. It's like a curved area with angles and stuff. And I'm like, oh, I can't bring myself to doing the hazard stripes on that. I'll do them on a sort of a more easier, flatter surface. But I am going to throw a few hazard stripes on this guy somewhere, and probably a couple of checks or dags or something anyway. Because I haven't got too many hazard stripes in my army, and since they're black and yellow anyway, seems a shame not to. I've done a few, but not a huge amount. Well, I feel like this guy, he's I think hazard stripes on him would go quite well. But yeah, I'm glad to hear some. I've been getting really positive comments actually on my battle reports, and I'm really glad to hear that you guys are enjoying them. It's really that's been a sort of a bit of a focus for the channel lately, because it's a point that I tried to get to for so long. Before I'd painted up my stuff and that, and you know, it's just something I couldn't do, and I was really like wanting to do them. And so since I've got, you know, at least a portion of my army painted enough that I can do battle report stuff, it's been really fun, and it's been really satisfying to see the success, because they do quite good numbers, you know, in terms for my channel anyway. Numbers that I'm certainly happy with, and people seem to be really enjoying them. And I'm quite fortunate is that I've got quite a decent selection of friends and players locally who I can play. So I get a good variety of opponents. I'm still trying to get a time when me and my brother can link up so we can do a Orcs versus AdMech battle report. That should be good fun. Last time I played him wasn't a battle report, but it was against his he had an Imperial Knight in with his AdMech, and oh boy, that was my first time ever playing against a Knight. Those things are fucking nasty, but I still won the game. The Knight single-handedly killed like 90% of my army, but luckily I'd scored so much on the objectives and stuff that I won anyway, even though I'd been nearly wiped out to a grot. But it was a fun battle report. But the first turn was hilarious. I remember the first turn, I got first turn, and my tank busters were up in a building. They shot everything into his Knight, and all with his void shields and all the whatever he's got, all this kind of invulnerable saves and shit and high, you know. The look on his face when the tank busters took him down to like half his wounds on that first volley, he was like, "Oh, they've got to die." Well, sure enough, they did die. He then shot back at them in the next turn and just destroyed them so easily. And everything that Knight shot at was just deleted. Everything. So it basically became a sort of a avoid the Knight, grab the objectives, because this thing's going to just wipe us all out. Because once he'd killed my tank busters, there wasn't a huge amount left that could really put a dent in it. And plus, it was just getting stronger every turn because he was repairing it every turn, and it was, you know, it was moving up to its higher stat line as it was being repaired, and just getting more and more efficient as the game went on. But it was a fun game. It was a cool game. But he'd very much put all his eggs in one basket with that Knight, and it cost him a load of CP as well. Because yeah, I don't know what the exact rules are now, but you know, when you're using Knights or whatever, it basically costs you CP to use them in the detachment or something. I don't know. So yeah, although they're really powerful and kill loads of shit, they can actually be detrimental to your army because they're not great at scoring objectives. Although I think they keep updating them and working with them. They've never really seemed to. Knights have always seemed to cause a problem for Games Workshop, and they always seem to be constantly trying to rebalance them and make them work in the game. But it's good fun. I love coming up against stuff like that. You know, some people moan about shit like that, but I love coming up against really hard, tough units and trying to figure out how to bring them down or win the game regardless. You know, just avoid them. Sometimes not bringing them down is the way to go. People get caught up in that sometimes. I must kill that thing. Well, actually, you could just ignore it, kill everything else, and focus on grabbing the objectives, and just, you know, maybe just try and distract it and bog it down with something else. Right, I've almost finished this little jaw plate, and then I'll be able to look back up at the screen and chit chat to you, because you're probably all getting a bit sick of looking at the top of my bald head, especially with this light on it. Whew. Hope you're all wearing your sunglasses. Just freshly shaved my head tonight as well, so it's extra bald. Okay, painting the underside bit, the bit that no one's ever going to see, but I'll know it's there, so I've got to do it. Okay. I think I've missed a couple of little bits, but do you know what? That'll do for now. There we go. God, it's really bright in it. Let's tone that down a bit. Just I only need it bright. There we go. That's better. So there you go. You can see I mean, that is almost white anyway, that bone color, but it's a sort of a cream color. Well, it's a bone color. It looks a bit whiter on the screen than it actually is. But yeah, I'll do a proper white over the jaw plate. Those teeth will stay this color, but yeah. It's coming along. Right. Let's wash off my brush and see what's going on in the chat. Who have we got in here? Wow, we got 25 people and 30 likes. How does that happen? Everyone's getting their friends and relatives to like it as well. Good stuff. Okay, let's scroll up just a little bit through these. Gabriel Coper says, "Hi, Steve. I'm working on a dread as well, rescuing a knackered one. Someone gave me with some bits and bobs. Cool. Good stuff. Nice little rescue project. I think the new boys kit is fine. I feel most monopose models look better than the multi-pose ones. You trade good looks for freedom of creativity. I assume it's fine for troops, but that's just me." Well, don't get me wrong. It looks, I'll agree with you. It looks good. It does look good. But they're not fun to build. They're not fun to build because you are literally just like a drone. You're going, right, I have to put this bit here. Right, well, now I have to put that bit there. And that's all you're doing. You're just sitting there. You're just following instructions. That's all you're doing. That's not very creative, is it? Someone else has had the joy of creating them and posing them and doing all that. They've had great fun. But all you're doing is following their instructions and repeating what they've done. That's not very fun, is it? Now, you tell me that when you've got a load of heads and bodies and that, and you're just having fun going, oh, right, I'm going to put that head on that body. No one can tell me that's not more fun than just simply following a set of instructions. Also, the fact it's mixed weapons, bad. Now, I don't mind too much because I've only got 20 of them with the combat patrol. I will never buy any more because just why would you? But I've got them. I haven't started building any of them yet, but I will probably do some things with them and try and tie them in with my other boys and that. I don't know. I mean, the knobs in them look really good. I'd say the knobs in this new boys kit are a big improvement over the knob that comes in the old boys kit, because he had the short stumpy legs. You know, he was the sort of weedy knob. That's why I always use the proper knobs to lead my boys rather than the ones that come in. I just built 11 boys, and then from the knobs kit, you use them to lead your boys. But I do like these the new the new knobs in this new boys kit do look really, really nice. They are lovely miniatures, and some of them look really good. But yeah, I don't know. But it's not an issue for me because I've already got loads of boys, so these I can just sprinkle in amongst them and mix them in, and it's not a big issue. But to someone starting out, especially if you want to go classic Orc boys and have like hordes and hordes, you want 100+ boys in your army. If you're doing it out of that new kit, it's going to look very uniform and very, I don't know. Especially if you want shooter boys, especially if you want anything other than mixed squads. So yeah, I don't know. And Dim said it before. Dim said it on the War Boss show. Why not have both? A GW not good enough to give us multi-pose kits that also look dynamic. If anyone can do it, it's them, surely. The new Elder kit that's coming out, Elder Guardians, they're multi-pose. They look really cool. You get the options in there to build them as Guardians or Storm Guardians. You get all that stuff. A lot of the Space Marine stuff has been like that. It's just a very odd decision that they took with the new Orc Boys kit. Very odd decision indeed. I mean, this guy, he's monopose. He has no options at all. I mean, I've done the option. I've replaced his head. But I'm not so bothered about that. Don't get me wrong, I would have still preferred him to be multi-part with loads of different kits and options and stuff, but it's less of an issue with something like that, with a character or something. I don't mind that so much. But when it's your line infantry and things, in which you are potentially going to be building 100+ of them, it's really nice to be able to, you know, get that posability and make each one unique and do things like that. I don't know. I think, yeah, I don't know. I think it's weird. Some people really do defend GW over this stuff, and I see why to an extent, because some of the salt and the negativity can come across as a little bit too much sometimes, and a bit repetitive. So I get why people rebel against that, but actually there are lots of good valid points there that you need to listen to and actually realize that you think about the kits you've had the most fun building. I guarantee you none of them are Monopose. No one has fun building a Monopose kit. It's a chore. It's not fun. At least I don't think it is. It's not, just following instructions isn't fun. Scroll down. We've got CM War Games in here. I'm on Snazwagons, then War Bikers, then Dakar Jets. Blimey, you've got a lot on the go, mate. I have completed a gun wagon already. Cool. The CM War Games WAR continues to grow. How's that Mini Cooper coming along, mate? To Gitman, I sprayed my Gorkanaut with a metallic prime, and it really helps speed up the process of painting the bastard. And I actually tried my hand at hazard stripes on the faceplate, and I'm happy with them. Cool. That sounds cool, mate. I look forward to seeing him. Colin Mack, for Dead Zone, I got 3 factions I can do, though Mason Labs is my fave. Think Jeff Bezos from Amazon played Resident Evil and figured Umbrella has the right idea. Cool. There's a lot to unpack in that bloody sentence there, man. But cool. It sounds like you're having fun. Dreadwar, CM War Games. He isn't painting. He's using his wife's tanning light on his bald spot. Velgarn's here. Only way to win against powerful tough is actually doing the objectives. Yes. Yeah. This is what I do. I do like this aspect of ninth. I like a lot about ninth. But I like the fact that if you are getting absolutely battered and you're outclassed, you can still win the game. Which I think is very good, because I think a lot of battles and things isn't always about just we need to kill them all before they kill us all. Sometimes that is what a battle's there for, but a lot of the time a force is sent in to achieve a specific objective, and maybe it's a suicide mission. Maybe there is acceptable losses, you know, under we must capture this objective or destroy this objective or whatever at any cost, you know. To hell with the losses. This is more vital, and so I think this is really good. I find it opens it up. So I do really like the fact that ninth is a very objective based game. I love that. I always used to just in the early days for gay, I used to get quite tired of playing just I used to get roped into playing just games of just right. There is no objectives. It's my army and your army. We're just going to kill each other. That's fun sometimes, but it gets very boring very quickly. Especially if one force does outclass the other, then the result's going to be the same every time. Whereas you throw some objectives in there and you focus in on that, then you can win. But the way secondaries work is kind of the more I'm playing around with that, the more I'm doing it, the more I'm deciding to sort of house rule things and do things to make it more fun and more because if you choose the wrong secondaries and the other player chooses the right secondaries for their list, again, it could be a very one-sided game, which isn't always good. And it's a lot to keep track of as well. You've got the main objective, then you've got to remember your 3 secondaries that you're trying to achieve. You've also got to remember the 3 secondaries that your enemy's trying to achieve and try and halt them achieving them. Because it's not just about scoring your own. Sometimes the key to winning is to stop them scoring theirs. I mean, that's potentially seven different objectives you've got to memorize during the game, where you're already trying to memorize, right, what does this gun do? How far does this unit move? What is this guy's special rule that I've got to remember? And I've got to announce it in a particular phase. There's a lot of stuff to remember. Hence why so many mistakes are made. I forget shit all the time. I'm like, through the movement phase, and I'm like saying to my opponent, shit, I was supposed to declare a war this turn. I'm supposed to do it in my command phase. Do you mind if I just say it now? And they're like, yeah, it's cool. But in a tournament, they would say, well, no, you didn't say it, so you can't do it now. And it's so much to keep track of. It's hard work. Scroll down a little bit more. Go on. I just wanted to defend Monopose kits a bit because they are not as bad as most people pretend these days. You know, it's what you get out of a minute. It's what you get. I think some of the Monopose kit, I really like this boss in Mega Armor. I really like him. He's Monopose. I really like this this Pain boss. He is Monopose, but he does have some choices. He's got a choice of 2 different arms, 2 different heads. I really like this, actually. When I saw him, I was like, yeah, he's cool. But when I've got him, I'm like, actually, this is a really cool miniature. He's like what the Pain Boy should have been. He's got a similar kind of look and pose, but done right. I love this miniature. Sometimes miniatures, when you actually get them in your hand and have them, you're like, oh, this is really cool. And like I said, I don't mind so much with characters and stuff, because you're less likely to have repeats of those anyway. I mean, if I had my way, every kit would come with loads of fucking options and bits and stuff. But yeah, it's. I think look at the reason why GW are doing these Monopose kits, and again, I'll point you back to Discourse Miniatures video in my community tab. Go and have a look at it after this video. Click on the link, go and watch that video, and I think you'll see she makes some really good points. Look at why GW are doing them. She was talking about how they hate the secondhand bits market. You know, you go on eBay, you go on all these different sites, people are selling bits. People are trading bits and stuff and everything. And they don't like that because they're not making any money out of that. So when they do it this way, these bits, sometimes you're left with bits, but there's not much you can do with those bits because they're so specific. And the way the kits go to give us, there's not much left over at the end. So there is nothing for these people to sell on and trade and stuff. And I don't know, it's weird. And I think as consumers, we have to kind of do, to a certain extent, rebel against that sort of stuff and voice our concerns. And it's important to voice our concerns. If we want them to be the best they can be, then it's important that these concerns are voiced and heard by them and by everyone. But yeah, you're right. The Monopose kits aren't as bad as people always say. At least some of them aren't. Tommy Grimbooter says maybe it's punishment for us all going to Cromlech, etc. for bits. Who knows? We wouldn't have to if they had all the kits. Well, we still would, but you know, it's people always have done. But yeah, I don't know. Bits boxes might become a thing of the past if GW have their way. CM Wargame says, as long as it goes together easy, I'm happy. Well, the Cooper is in the Mel shop, the mech shop. You're gluing some bits to it, are you? Giving it an Orky vibe. Yeah, well, a lot of these Monopose kits don't go together easy, do they? Some of them are, they don't get me wrong, they fit together nicely. You don't get gaps and stuff like you have done with some of the older kits in the past. But you can't do it without the instructions a lot of the time. Even on basic bits like building the Beast Snagger boys or the regular Orc boys, you need the fucking instructions there to. And most of the time, you never needed the instructions before. It was all pretty obvious that that's the left arm, that's the right arm, that's a torso, that's a set of legs, that's a head. And I think there's a way what's stopping them doing a dynamic set of running legs and then a standing legs and a kneeling legs and doing all them and then torsos to go on, and you could still get dynamic poses and stuff. And I'm sure they're in a way where they could create stuff so that it still hides the joins and things. They could do that kind of thing. I don't know. Simwoo, hello Stevo and gang. Hello, mate. The Pale Orc, how are you liking the new CP rules being tied to objective instead of starting with them? I until you said that, I didn't know that was a thing, mate. what Pale, what is that from? Is this from an update? Is this from a chapter approved? What I didn't even know about that. I'll be honest with you. How are you liking the new CP rules being tied to objective instead of starting with them? I don't know. I didn't even know they'd changed that. See, this is what I mean. This is what I mean. There's too many changes. Let it sit for a while. Stop fucking with it. Stop it. Stop fucking with the fucking game. Just let it fucking sit. Let us just fucking learn the game long enough that we can memorize the fucking rules. I've always been the positive one out of the war bosses. It's getting harder and harder to keep that up. CM Moore goes, yeah, there are only 5 to 6 secondaries that are worth taking, full stop. Yeah, and even then, it's only, specific if you're like, I don't know, they've got to be, if you don't have the right sort of units to use, like, I don't know, if you don't have a psyker in your army, that immediately nullifies a huge portion of them, or, et cetera, et cetera. Or if the enemy doesn't have a specific unit, like, I don't know, get points for killing a Titanic unit or something. I've found it quite fun. I did it with Baltimore. When me and Baltimore played, we decided to keep it simple. We used all the we did 3 secondaries each, but we decided, right, let's together, between the two of us, choose the 3 that we think will be fun, fluffy, and balanced. And so we went with that. And because I bought a load of Death Dreads in cans, he'd bought a load of Dreadnoughts, we were like, well, it makes sense to choose the one to kill the vehicles, because that's going to be what we're going to try and do anyway. Grind them down. That's nice and simple because you're killing stuff anyway. Nice and easy to keep track of. You don't really have to think about it during the game because, of course, you're trying to kill stuff. So then if you kill more than them, you get points. Nice and simple. You can switch your brain off. So, yeah, I tend to like ones like that you don't have to. And maybe just like have one that you have to kind of really go, right, if I do this specific thing, I get a nice little bonus points for that secondary. Yeah. Mitchell Monster says, good morning from Australia, Queensland. Good morning, mate. It is coming up to 10 o'clock at night here at the moment. Dreadwire Gaming. The problem all stems from GW wanting to be the hobby. They are not. They are part of it. If you give them that power, they'll run with it. Consumers have choice. They can't stop that. Very true. The Pale Orc. The next GT book changes a shitload of the mission stuff. Oh, good. I look forward to that. Whether or not I pick it up, whether or not I decide to follow it, I don't know. I guess, like anything, if it sounds fun and I prefer it, then I'll probably follow it. If not, then I can just play missions from the old one and use the rules from that. I think what I'm going to do with my battle reports going forward, though, is more and more lean into a bit more of a narrative side. I like this term that Winter's SEO used the other day, was matched play narrative, and I think that's where I fit, because I don't like doing the narrative. Like I'm not really down for the power level. I'm not down for open play. I still like there to be a certain level of balance. So I still like the match play. I like the points. I like the way you build your list using points. But I don't like the full-on meta list, sort of bland, soulless, lifeless kind of lists that people that to me isn't just fun. I like you're still building a list to win. You're still trying to be competitive, but you're also trying to put the fluff and the theme of your army. And I think they don't have to be two separate things. You can go down that. And so I really like that match play narrative, because to me, that's how I've always played it, going way back to 3rd edition. So I think I'm going to go along that and basically do match play, but you'll probably see more and more on my channel, like custom missions, or maybe there won't be any victory points. There will just be like one specific mission. Maybe, I don't know, someone will be trying to destroy something and someone will be trying to defend something. Or I might even do like the odds against, maybe there's one army half the size of the other, or it's lesser than the other, and it's just to win the game, they just have to survive, and the other one has to wipe them out, and that's it. That's the only win-loss thing. You got the bigger, stronger army, and you're trying to wipe out these last valiant defenders, and they're just trying to hang on. And if anything survives after 5 turns, they win the game. If you wipe them out, you win the game. And I really like the idea of doing more things like that. And you know, I think it would just be more fun. Disson says, the problem with Monopose is not that they don't look good. In my opinion, the big problem is that they all look exactly the same when you have 10 of them side by side. This is true. This is true. Navani says, now, Stevo, you have to consider the fact that kiddos aren't used to be creative and solve issues in the same way today. They need to get things served to get a first interest. Hashtag old man, LOL. Possibly a controversial viewpoint. Not one that I entirely disagree with, though, mate. Digitman, after I paint the Gorkanaut, what do you suggest I paint? Should I paint some Burner Boys or the Biker? I suggest you paint whatever you think will be most fun, mate. Whatever you think you'll have most fun doing, because then you're more likely to do a good job on it and motivate yourself to do it. Gobble One, Dreadwire Gaming, they are a big part of it, and they have the one big game for which you will always find people to play. There are far better games out there. Warhammer isn't really a good game. Gobble One, but what is the best game if you have no one to play with? 5 p.m. here in the eastern US. Oh, I clicked the wrong button there. Don't do that. Gary Hauser says, I'd like to see GW just do the books and independents do the models, but they will never let loose of the control they have now. All about the money. Well, I'll disagree with you there, Gary, because I think actually for what I want from GW is more miniatures and less books. I'd actually ask for the opposite thing. I don't really want something as drastic as that, because the GW miniatures I still really like. They're not all winners, but I still think they produce some fucking really good looking miniatures, really good stuff. Like these new commandos that have come out, for example. I mean, I hasn't met anyone that says I don't like them. A lot of the third party stuff is really cool as well, but yeah, no, I don't want GW to stop making miniatures. I'd just like them to release fewer books and fewer updates and fewer changes. But to be honest, they can carry on doing the updates and changes. I'm not going to follow them all. Don't get me wrong. 10th edition comes around, I'll transfer to that and learn that, and that's, after however many years of this edition we have, I don't mind that so much. It's the constant little tweaks and updates and changes throughout, and it feels like at this level, don't get me wrong, sometimes we had a period before where they wouldn't, you'd get broken rules or things and they wouldn't get fixed for months and months or years or ever, and that was crap. Who was it I watched the other day talking about this? It was either Kirioth or Winter's SEO, one of them two. Can't remember which one, but they were saying about updates, or it might have been Discourse Miniature saying actually, updates aren't a bad thing, but updates should happen when necessary. They've almost sort of said like, oh, we're going to update annually or monthly or a week after every cut. It's like, so what, are you just updating for the sake of updating? Just because they can't let anything stay the same for too long, we've got to change it. It's like, you don't have to change things just because they need changing. Like if something needs fixing or needs rebalancing, then yeah, do it. But don't feel like it just has to be like an expected thing. Oh, we're going to get all our points changed because it's annually the time for all the points to change. Why? Get the balance right in the first place. You shouldn't have to fuck about so much. That's a lot easier said than done. I know the game that's constantly having stuff added to it and expansion stuff is always going to need to change and balance. I don't know. I think there's a happy middle ground there, though. That I don't think I think they've gone way over the top with it. I really do. And loads of people are feeling like that. And if you're not feeling like that, you may end up feeling like that in the future, because a lot of people are feeling like that. And if you don't think it's an issue, you are mistaken, because a lot of people are finding it an issue. And you see it on YouTube now. Some of these big channels that have always been like big advocates for GW and Warhammer and really singing about it, and they've built their careers off of it, and that's how much they love it. And even these people are starting to really sort of go steady on now. That's got to tell you something. Ben Gullett, I'm new to the game. I'm building my first 500-point army. Do you recommend a Death Dread in a 500-point list? Yes, I do actually, mate. I do. Yeah. I've used them in 500-point lists, and they're good because you can get a Death Dread for as cheap as 100 points, depending on what weapons you give it. And that leaves you plenty of points to play around with. What do you need in a patrol? You need 1 troops and 1 HQ, don't you? So what I would recommend is a fairly cheap HQ. I think WARs are less. The WAR is nice to have with like a war boss or whatever, but actually they're less necessary. They don't have as much big impact in those small games, because they affect less stuff. You've got a small army, there's less to gain from that war. If you're doing a big army, you've got loads of boys and declare a war, it can have quite a big impact. When you're playing these small games and you've just got a few small squads, so a war boss isn't a compulsory HQ in that level of game. So you could have like a nice cheap weird boy leading your army, who gives you access to some psychic powers, which can be very powerful in them small games. Couple of units, maybe a unit or 2 of cheap grots is nice to fill out your list as well. 10-man unit of grots, 50 points. And it gives you a little bit to play around with maybe a little small elite squad, and that you can get a nice bit of variety. But yeah, Death Dread will become a big, giant, tanky unit in a small 500-point game, and be good fun. Idic Beers here, he says, hi all. There's so many of you now that I can't keep up with all the chat. Gobble one, Ben Gullett, not sure if I qualify for a recommendation, but I play 2 Death Dreads in my 500-point list. Yes, I've done that before as well. Against Nick, actually, I did that, and I won the game. Itcha Boy, that thumbnail smile, though. Love hearts and that. Oh, lovely. Well, Itcha Boy, thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, it's this fellow. He makes me smile. Death Dreads bring a smile on my face. What can I say? Lanny Mills, they make great models, but prices and library needed. They make great models, but prices and a library needed to play a game, such as. Yeah, well, it's not. It's not. This is what I'm learning, mate. We don't need to keep up with it. You don't need the latest chapter approved. You don't need any of them. You could actually just use the rule book and play it from there. Play the rules as in that. You still have a game. You still play a perfectly playable game. You don't need to. You honestly don't need to. Now, this can be a bit harder if you're playing. It's all going to come down to who you're playing with. Luckily for me, I play with people that are pretty chilled out. Generally, for the most part, want the same thing from the game as me. So quite happy to sort of house rule things and chat amongst ourselves. We don't do massive changes to the game. I think less is more when you do that. I think some people would like to come in and very heavy-handed go, right, well, let's scrap this and we'll play this like whole thing. We'll do it and change everything, and we'll make up our own rules for this stuff, and it can go a bit over the top, and that can be equally hard to try and get your head around. I think sometimes just going, we'll play the game, but we'll tweak this rule. Maybe we'll leave that rule out, and you could just do a little bit like that, a nice little light tweaking, just to tweak things to your liking, and agree on it together, and then have fun rolling some dice and shooting shit out of each other. Paylork, don't worry, guys. We understand that 7th edition was too much with so many books. It won't happen again. Nids now need 5 books to play an army list. Ouch. Cheapest is less with all combat arms, isn't it? Yeah, no, they've definitely gone back somewhat. Their business practices seems to have gone back to those dark days of 7th lately. I've seen a lot of people saying that, because 8th edition really did wonders for the game. You remember back when 8th edition started, it was wipe the slate clean. It upset a lot of people. It did upset a lot of people. A lot of people still have a lot of hatred for 8th edition. But I think more people liked it. 8th edition was really good for the game. And those early days, remember we all had the indexes and everyone was on that level playing field? Um, it was good times. It felt like they really breathed new life into the hobby. I think you saw that in the views that everyone was getting on YouTube and stuff. Like 40K was popular again. It was building up. It was getting good. And yeah, ninth come around, and I think a lot of the changes, I was like, oh, I like the sound of that. That's good. And some improvements were made. But yeah, the old bloat is real. The bloat is real. But you don't have to suffer the bloat. You really don't. Idic Beer says, just bring a Catan. Yeah, Catan for my orcs to kill. Drew Furlman, I missed the green tide list. Poor boys and mob rule. Yeah, that was a bit of a bummer, wasn't it? Yeah, the mob rule nowhere near as good now as it was before. Ben Gullett, I appreciate the advice, man. I was really back and forth on the idea. Yeah, look, try it out, man. Try it out. I think as long as you don't go over the top, like I said, I've done 2 Death Dreads in a 500-point list before. I've done 3 Killer Cans in a 500-point list as well. You can you can have a nice little list. You got mob of 10 boys, your HQ, a Death Dread would bring you to about, I don't know, let's say around 300 points, give or take, leaving you another 200 points to play with. Throw a unit of Grots in there to grab some objectives, give it a 350. You've got 150 points there still left to play with to throw some, maybe like a little small elite unit, maybe a little unit of commandos, or another unit, throw some more boys in there, or you can throw in, yeah, there's quite a bit you can do. A 500-point list, it does actually, as long as you kind of keep that in mind that you're playing them smaller games, yeah, you can build quite a varied list at 500 points. Combat Patrol is great fun, man. Trust me. Combat Patrol is great fun. Tommy Grimboot, I used to rock up to battles with a codex and a piece of paper. All the books and cards these days seem to be a hobby within themselves. Yes, they do. CM Wargames, LOL, I got to get a stomper. Mike Tapio, not just Death Dread, but Killer Cans too. Nick is just wishing me to break a stomper out. I bet he is. Go easy on him, Capitan. Go easy on him. Give him a nice fluffy game. Come on, build a fluff list. Have some fun that way. Live in Metal. All you guys need to hold another tournament between you all, like when you guys played at Nick's place a few years back. Yes, that would be cool. Well, that's all down to Nick, mate. When he's celebrating another milestone of his career, I'm sure that will happen. And if I'm on the guest list, I hopefully will be a part of that again, because the last one was great fun. Modeling for Advantage. Early 8th was a much simpler game. It was a little bit too simple after a while. After a few games, you were like, I'm getting a bit bored of just using a command reroll for the stratagems. Like, it'd be nice to get some more interesting stratagems. But yeah, it was a nice moment of wipe the slate clean and have everyone on that same playing field for a while there. It was very good for newcomers, I think, into the game. Tommy Grimbooter, what would you recommend for a looted wagons matched play army? Just buy a guard codex and use that? Well, that's one option. Or you use them as other things. They could be battle wagons, any number of the buggies, the things, because we've got quite a lot of vehicles in the Orc Codex now, so you could use any of those rules and still use Orc rules. I think it's good how people use like certain lists and do like use like a different codex to represent their list. Like, I know there's a lot of talk about like grot armies being used, but using like Imperial Guard rules for them still kind of sits a bit wrong with me, though. I don't really like the idea of all my orcs and stuff being like really accurate with their fire. Although I guess the ballistic skill of guard and grots is pretty similar, I guess. But I don't know. Sorry, that's a bit of a shit answer, wasn't it? I don't know. Colin back. 8th just finished me off with the system. The Saga of the Beast killed me on the lore. I liked Saga of the Beast. Had some great rules in it, and there was some of the lore in that book was quite cool. I mean, I did come to it after Vigilus Defiant, though. The lore in that was just such a snooze fest. So when I read Saga of the Beast, I was like, oh, this is quite good. In comparison to that, it really was good. Jay Hickman, I'm building a 1,000-point spearhead detachment with 6 death dreads and 6 killer cans. It's going to be deadly. It's going to be fun, mate. I'll tell you that much. It's going to be fun. Killer cans are so good now. They're so much better now. They had a hard time of it in 8th and 7th and 6th, I think. But in 8th edition, in this edition, killer cans are nice. They're very good. Lanny Mills, future competitive Warhammer 40k, 500-point games, no named characters. Yeah, no, I agree with that. I kind of missed. I liked. Remember in the old days, it used to be like you used to have to get like agreement with your opponent if you were going to use named characters and stuff. And I think that was quite good. The same with things with like super heavies and stuff and things like that. Now they sort of rolled it all into the game. I see why they did that, to give more freedom to players and stuff, but I think it makes the game a bit harder to balance in that way. Like they've done it recently with flyers, haven't they? They've limited how many flyers you can have in a detachment, whereas before, like, and they've done that because people have fucking spammed the shit out of it to exploit some loophole in the rules at tournaments. So then that's had a knock-on effect at you playing at home. At least you think it has, because you think you have to follow the up-to-date rules and use them exactly as they've done. But if you've built a fluffy, say you've done like you've done the Evil Sun's army, and you've got loads of buggies and bike stuff, and you've got 2 flyers in there. You're not spamming the fuck out of it. You're not doing it to be like ultra competitive. You're just doing it because it fits the theme and you like the flyers and you wanted 2 of them. Maybe you wanted 1 fighter and 1 bomber or whatever. You can't do that now because other people have spammed the shit out of it. So they've come in with a nerf hammer or balance and gone, right, we'll change all this and tweak that. And I think sometimes GW kind of overreact to some of these balance imbalances. They go, well, this unit's doing really well and everyone's using it. So now in the next year, we're going to double the points and just cripple them so no one wants to use them anymore. It's, but I don't know. More and more, I think the competitive scene of the gaming has had a negative effect on the game as a whole, I think, or at least our perception of how we should play it. But a lot of that is not just down to GW themselves. A lot of that's down to us. We have a responsibility. Those of us who create content have a responsibility to show another way of doing this. And we all, just playing our friends, just owe it to ourselves to give ourselves a break and go, actually, I can just play the way I want to play with what I want to play. CM War Games, we'll try and come back with something fluffy. Good stuff. Well done. Nick will be happy, mate. Trust me, he'll be happy. And it'll make for a fun battle report too. CM War Games. Yeah, COVID stopped the last one, I believe. Nick's got plans to do again. Yes, yeah. It did stop the last one, didn't it? Yeah, it was. And we never got to play in that last one either, did we, mate? We never got to play in that one, and I would have enjoyed that. But the 3 games I did have were very good fun. What did I do? I think I lost 2 and won 1. I think. Nick smashed me, and then I had a fairly close game for a while, at least, against old Average Brick Gaming. Was going quite well, but then he ended up beating me, and then got quite a lot of points. But we had a funny scoring system, which kind of went a bit crazy, I think, because we had the objectives, but then we had kill points on top of that as well, and it was the points that put your position in the league rather than the win. And I felt that the point should have been the sort of used in the event of a tie, because it was, I don't know, but it was a fun, whatever. It was fun to meet all the people and the guys and see all the different armies, and it was a real fun atmosphere. And Nick laid on a nice spread for us of grub and food, and it was really good fun day. Really enjoyed it. Really good fun. Nick, feel free to share a link to the video of that little mini tournament we did actually in the comments here. If you want to share that, feel free to share that, because I think a lot of people would like to see that. It was a good giggle. We had 3 orc armies. I think there were 8 armies in that tournament, and 3 of them were orcs. So that was cool. And I think it was actually orcs that won the whole thing. Not my orcs, but another orc army won the whole thing, if I remember correctly. The Pale Orc says, I'd give my left nut to get over to the UK to play against all you beautiful bastards. Would be a good time. That would be fun, mate. That would be. I'd love to stick my broken tooth tribe up against your Pale Orcs. That would be great fun. Great fun. Or team up against someone else, you know. That would be good. That would be a good laugh. Drew Feldman, did you play the old Dawn of War games? No, I didn't actually. The games of like the Games Workshop computer games that I used to play, like really old. Like I played the old ones that a lot of you would be too young to remember. Some of you would be old enough to remember them. Things like Space Hulk, and I'm not talking about the Xbox/PC one that's currently out. I'm talking Space Hulk on the Panasonic 3DO. Back in the day. It later came out on like the Saturn and the PlayStation as well. That was fucking good. And the fantasy ones, Lair of the Horned Rat and Dark Omen. And you played as the Dogs of War, like a mercenary army fighting for the Empire against like Skaven and the Undead and Orcs and Goblins. And that was really, really good fun. I used to have so much fun playing that game. And then going back even further, I remember playing on my Amiga 500. I remember playing Hero Quest and Space Crusade, which was literally the board games on your computer, literally to the point where you even pressed a button to like roll the dice and stuff. But yeah, I used to have a lot of fun playing them. CM War Games is on to my 3rd snaz wagon. Disun Snoggo, I'll give Pale's left nut to go over and play you guys as well. Well, you have to use his right nut, mate, because he's already used his left one. So, Defcon, I remember the old Warhammer game, hard as hell. Yeah, it was, man. If you didn't save regularly and you did bad in one battle, it could lead you to a point where the game was impossible to complete, and you go shit, and you'd have to go right back and start again. It had its flaws in terms of that. It was like it didn't have a lot of these sort of quality of life improvements that a lot of modern games have, but it was challenging in the right sort of way. It was fun. It could be frustrating at times, but yeah, I remember like a certain unit would die, and I'd be like, because once they were dead, that was it. They were dead. You could have a unit like a load of men killed, and then you could rebuild that unit. But if the unit got wiped out, that's it. It's gone forever. And there'd be certain units that I had the ogres, and if my ogres died, I'm like, nope, restart, not having that. Can't. A bit like XCOM. Like on XCOM, when something dies, it's gone forever. It was very much like that, but it was a really, really fun game. What's Dread saying? Pale, one day, mate, and when you manage it, we'll have a right jolly old time. You know it, yeah. You never know what the future brings, Pale. You never know what the future brings. But yeah, you've got a few people near you though, haven't you, Pale, that you can meet up with and play? I'm surprised you and Brack haven't done a battle report yet. Mind you, Australia's a big country. I don't know how far away you are from each other. You're probably fucking miles away from each other. But mind you, it'd be a bit more achievable than coming over here, I expect. That flight from Australia, man. Oh, I don't know if I could do that. Flying to Australia, that would be... I've done America, I think, a few times, and that plane trip's painful enough. Lanny Mills, have you got a whole army of Geargots models yet? No. And I'm not likely to either. I've got one Geargots miniature, which I am in love with. This fella, who is still needing to be finished. But yeah, I've got this fella and absolutely in love with him. But no, the Gear Guts miniatures, much like a lot of the other third-party stuff. I like all the third parties. I like pick and choose the bits I like, you know, that fit with my army and my theme. And for the most part, the companies I like the most are ones like For Fun Minis, and some of Cromlech stuff, and well, there's loads of them, but I pick and choose the bits that I feel like tie in and fit with like the GW aesthetic, because I like that look. That's what first drew me in. I like GW's orcs. I really like them. I like the big ape-like, big brutish nature of them, and a lot of the companies sort of take their own slant on it and tweak them a bit. And I also, as well, a lot of the miniatures that are a bit oversized. I don't like the sort of bigger is better approach all the time. I don't think that's always right. I like the scale to sort of hold, keep and that. I've talked loads of times about how I don't like war bosses that are like 10 inches tall and shit. I think they look ridiculous. It's just a personal taste thing. Some people love them. They want a massive war boss that towers over everything else on the battlefield. And if that is your bag, that's cool. I don't think it's right, because this guy, that doesn't look very big to some people. He's a piddly war boss, but actually you put that next to your boy, he's fucking massive and hench. And that feels right to me. He feels like a war boss. He's a big old boy. I don't think they need to be any bigger than that, really. What are we going on here? Dreadwire Gaming, near is like 12 hours, lol. Hello, I've got a huge local community that's growing, still getting names in, but Brack is over 9 hours away from me, so it's not likely. Well, it's doable, mate. It's doable. You could get a short flight over there, and or even come to you, stay the night, and do a game, go back the next day, sort of thing. It's doable. The Gitman, don't forget, Stevo, I put you and other war bosses in my character pool in XCOM 2. Be glad that I didn't cast a spell that kills you and your character. Yes, I remember you doing that. Yeah, I play a lot of XCOM myself, mate. Actually, XCOM is awesome. It is a fantastic game. Velgon, I'm fine with my kit bashed freebooter captain made by using Gruck Face Ripper. Nice. Gruck Face Ripper is awesome. And he's available on his own now, isn't he, at last? GW have released the War Boss kit, Gruck Face Ripper kit, on his own. You don't have to buy him in the set with the knobs and everything anymore. So that's cool. And that one sort of slipped through the net that not a lot of people realized that, yeah, you can now buy the War Boss. Now, when I saw that, I was really pleased, but I haven't checked the store actually to see if the old Metal War Boss is still available. Because I reckon if he's available now, they've probably finally done away with the old Metal War Boss, which would be a shame, because I really like that miniature and I wish I'd bought one or two of them before they'd gone away, because they're really cool. Velgon, he has a fancy hat and that's all that matters. Indeed, indeed. Freebooters do like a fancy hat, don't they? I'm guessing like a pirate hat, not just like a pimp hat with a big feather in it or something. Although that would be very freebootery as well. A big orc pimp boss. Maybe that's more of a Bad Moon thing. This one, scale is important to consistency in an army. Yeah, I agree. The scale is really important, I think. The metal is still available at £15. Gruck is £21. Oh, well, there you go. I mean, I like both. To get both. Yeah, £15. That's a bargain. Well, it's not a bargain. It's still a lot of money in it. But yeah, it's good. That metal boss is awesome. I personally love the fact that the Gruck War Boss was with a set of knobs, because I love getting more knobs. Yeah, if you want to, but not everyone wanted to, and then you had to pay all the extra money to get it. And let's face it, for a while there, those knobs were in every set going. They came in the Saga of the Beast, they came in the Getting Started set, they came in like just everything. So you just ended up with just so many of them. A great kit, but they were just sort of saturated the orc market with the knob set in, like, put it in everything. And if you just want the War Boss, you don't want to pay all that extra money, it's handy that Gruck is there on his own now. Yeah, Velgarn says the same. Just check GW store. Old War Boss with Big Chopper is there. That's cool. That's really cool that he's still there. Don't know how much longer for though. His time's going to be coming soon, isn't he? Both online order only, I believe. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. I really want the metal one. It's a shame they got rid of the alternative one. That is a shame. Yeah, my metal war boss that I've got painted up in my army, he's a combination of the two of them. He's got the big chopper and the head from this one, but I think his body and the combi scorcher is from the other one, because the other one had a combi scorcher and an attack squig, and he had the horned helmet. And I had both of them in the early days when I was on a real budget. I was doing little ways to build my army up cheaply. So I was getting bits and then selling off the bits that I didn't want to sort of recoup some of the cost to be able to then fund getting more. I was really tight. I had very little money when I was starting back out again. So I was doing like every ways. I think I bought two of them off eBay. They were both eBay rescues that were painted horrendously, and I broke them up, stripped all the paint off them, and then built the boss out of the bits and then sold off the other bits to get some money back. Now, on hindsight, I wish I'd just kept the other one, because I do like the one with the horned helmet as well. I might have to look for them. But I bet they're going up a bit in value now because they're the rarer one. The one they've got now that's still going, the big chopper one, I always preferred him. But I like the other one too. And yeah, I don't know. I might have to see if I can scour eBay and get another one of them that's painted and built really badly, so I can strip it and fix it. Because the great metal miniatures is so easy to buy them, rip them apart, strip all the paint off, and you're left with a brand new miniature again. Idic Beer, it always ends up talking about knobs. It certainly does, mate. I only have 20 regular knobs and I want to get more, says the Git Man. Well, get more then, get more. They're pretty cheap. Well, I say cheap. They're cheap in terms of GW kits. Velgarn, I think GW knows how people really love orcs, so that's why they will allow you to buy old boys still. Yeah, it's a weird time, isn't it? I've not known a time when GW release a new kit and keep the old kit running alongside it. And what that tells me is either they're not confident in this new boys kit, or they've been receptive to the backlash against it, and that someone at GW knows that the community loves that boys kit. And if it had been replaced with a kit that had options and parts and stuff and basically wasn't this new kit, I think they would have done away with the gold kit by now. But I don't know. It's weird. It's strange, isn't it? So yeah, as much as we're all moaning about this new kit and we don't like it, the great thing is at least GW for now have left the option there to go, well, you can buy that one or this one. So that is good. It's weird though. Very weird. Almost, I don't ever remember another time at GW doing something like that. Ivan says, knobs, I can't do anything with them in this edition. 81 knobs and counting on my 30,000 point army. Nice. Very nice. Gitman says, well, unfortunately, boss, I don't have a job, so I have no money. Yeah, well, you will have one day, mate, and that's when your problems really start. Trust me. Enjoy this time, buddy. Enjoy this time. You don't have a care in the world right now. When you get older, mate, you go out and you got to fend for yourself, and and your car breaks down, or your boss is giving you a hard time, or you get a nice bill through the post. It doesn't really get any easier, mate. Sorry to tell you. These are the best years of your life. CM Wargame, knobs are good bodyguards for Gaz. Yes, they are. Well, guys, we are coming up to almost 2 hours now for this completely unplanned and random live video. I really appreciate you all joining me. It's been good fun. Keep an eye out on the channel, because like I said, what I said at the beginning of this cast, I've got a Q&A coming up soon, which loads of you have answered the questions. If you want to pose a question for that Q&A, it is in my community tab on this channel. If you go over to that and scroll down a bit, you'll see a post asking for questions for the Q&A. There's been some crackers in there that I'm looking forward to answering. So yeah, the more the merrier. And yeah, I've got a few other videos and things in the pipeline on the channel coming up soon. If you want to support me, there is a Goblin Gaming affiliate link in the description of this video and every video, so you can go and buy your stuff from there, save some money, and it helps towards the channel. Or I've got Patreon links, etc. And otherwise, just like and subscribe and do all that shit. But I'm sure most of you here are subscribers already. But yeah, guys, thanks so much for joining. I didn't know how many I'd get today, but I've got quite a few of you today, so it's been good fun. What did I paint? I just painted that one little white bit on him. That's it. But at least I got something done. I was more focused on this, see. But yeah, thank you very much. It means the world to me that you lot subscribe and like the videos and join up and that. Underdog Paintings jumped in. What up, peeps? Prob late again. You are, mate. I'm literally just closing it down. And on that note, guys, I guess there's nothing else to say other than this is 6+ Stevo signing out.